Hello, I am Bret, and welcome back to Show Me the Mods Week. This week, we're looking at your delightfully cursed creations, so make sure to like this video and check back tomorrow for the final episode. And now, in no particular order, show me the mods. David, BcuzBlasters. I call it the starting up at the front. There is no Longstrike barrel lug. It was a tribute to cUBeCUTTER. I used Scotch tape to keep it together. I tried super glue on a different mod and things had gotten a little messy. Well, that is one heck of a name. That is a really long name. I would consider shortening that, but maybe, just maybe, I don't know, man, if Coop saw this, he might come back. And good on you for selecting the less messy Scotch tape option over super glue, because this clearly just looks so much more polished. Also, it took me a good 5 minutes to actually figure out the front. It's all Longstrike barrel lugs. It's like 6 Longstrike barrel lugs taped together. At first I was like, is that one Longstrike barrel lug on the front of a Jolt with like a different barrel attached? But most barrels don't bend like that. Now I get it. And I know that's basically what the name was. Calm down. I do see the dart holder with some darts that look like they've been through a lot. So question, do you have to ramrod them like through the very front of the blaster? Or does the barrel like pivot and then you can load the dart and then prime it and fire? Maybe Coop knows more. I'll give him a call real quick. RedFlounder, Pinpoint Battle Rifle. Enough said. I get it. This mod style will never get old. The master key under an extended barrel, I know the term is probably meant just for under-barreled shotguns, but this is Nerf, who cares? There's a little bit of jank in the attachment of the N-Series agility to the Pinpoint barrel, but it still looks pretty good. I'm not sure if it's attached with like putty or hot glue, given the bare bones description, and I see the priming slide was also minimized so it wouldn't hit the magazine when you prime it back. Very smart. But otherwise, it seems to operate as intended. Both blasters seem to operate as intended, but it just looks really good. The paint job especially, just really nice. I didn't realize how far some blue paint would go to make the Pinpoint look better. And of course, that's a different magazine included too, so hey, this is a good N-Series loadout, I suppose. From Rhythmic, work in progress, 200 PSI Titan rocket launcher, pending items, air pump, barrels, solar generator / panel. Titan mods in 2025. What is this? Is the tank back there going to go into the Titan, or is that where it's being mounted? I see there's already some parts of the tubing mounted on the blaster. I'm a little confused. I also have no idea where this solar panel you mentioned is going. And I'm curious what barrels you also have planned, as obviously this is a blaster with a lot of potential to put out just a little bit of air. So, 50 dart shells, preferably not one. I guess we'll see what you do with it. Wilbero. It is called the Bardpede, a stampede with a 6 kilogram spring and 2S LiPo so it doesn't bump fire firing around 80 FPS. This was built back in the day of actually being competitive. It has a 120 watt subwoofer strapped underneath with 2 smaller speakers integrated into the sides of the blaster. And if you want to see more, and yeah, this was 7 years ago, wow. Feel old yet? I very vaguely remember this, and now watching the videos, I'll link them in the description. It feels familiar, but this is great. I got to admit, at first I saw the box and I thought, oh, it must be belt fed, because there are certain belt fed blasters right now that got me thinking that way. No. But I was dumb, and I was wrong. It is not. I'm sure it can also get a little tiring to carry that around, especially since it's, you know, very heavy, dangling in the front, but I guess you can put it down without too much concern. I also love that you put the speakers in the Stampede itself. It's not just all encompassed or enclosed in a box underneath the Stampede. The blaster itself will sing, and it definitely puts some work into that mod, and I hope it can still function. And it's not just 7 years ago I made this, now it's dead. But I also love that in the video you can see we got zip ties. We have zip ties for days holding that together. I mean, all the work went into the integrated, you know, music inside the blaster. You can't spare expense for mounting it. the subwoofer. And you could definitely bring this nowadays to drown out the noisy flywheels with this one simple trick. Full volume Bardpede. Poodle of Darkness. I built this over quarantine. It's a mashup of a BcuzBlasters bolt action blaster, WIP Blastzooka, and the breech of an Aeon Pro, held together entirely with zip ties and electrical tape. It does somehow shoot 200 FPS. I have used this in battle. It's surprisingly fun and effective. We love a success story. Also, somehow it shoots 200 FPS? I have a theory about that. It starts with X and ends with a Z, and there's a B in the middle. And we love old school BcuzBlasters bolt actions. They don't get too much love. We definitely love tape. I see the tape all over this one. Only electrical tape and zip ties? That definitely screams, look, this is what I found lying around, so I used it. I'm really trying to decide if that XBZ being upside down, so the trigger is underneath, really bothers me or just makes sense. I'm quite torn. And the breech of the Aeon Pro is also so random, but thanks for saying that because I would not have been able to tell, like, at all. I hope this thing stays together, and I'm glad you've had fun using it because it definitely doesn't look like it wants to stay together. But it's got some charm. From Tiffen, behold my grand creation. It's a Longstrike modified to use an air tank for more range and power. The tank and pump were from a broken rapid fire whose firing mechanism had broken and the trigger was repurposed from a compressor. Hits harder than before and the bolt mechanism is still functional. Had to 3D print 2 small parts and use a lot of zip ties, but it works. From where I'm from, it's hard to get specific hardware. And yet, you made it work. And that's what really matters. I can't recall the last time I saw a Rapid Fire 20 repurposed for another blaster, but I can definitely recall the last time I found a broken Rapid Fire 20. And again, we got zip ties for days, keeping this thing together with zip ties. We love a tried and true method. And I love how the Longstrike has that perfect little spot on the top of the stock. I've seen many XBZ Longstrikes where it just goes perfectly right over that stock. You don't have to take it off, it's just meant to be. Hasbro thought of everything. And as long as you're only using 6-round mags, that pump won't interfere with the magazine. You thought of that, right? That was the intention. I sure hope it hits harder than before, as well, like you mentioned, because the Longstrike is not known to be very powerful. In fact, it's known to be very underpowered. As long as your connections are holding up and nothing's leaking, I sure hope it does. Linker. Stryfe Kit had a proprietary pusher that I wanted to fire long and short darts. I had no 3D printer, ordered a worker hybrid pusher without measuring, dremeled off the flange, glued it to the kit's pusher. Our Nerf Discord told me it'd break on full auto. It didn't. Fun fact, worker Gen 3s being slightly shorter for Nightingale mags work terribly with existing worker half dart adapters, and thus the entire project worked horribly on the most common half dart. The best laid plans, given life and death by worker. Modifying a dart pusher is definitely a frustrating process, but I suppose the good news is no one will ever have to see the jank when you close it back up. Oh wait, I shouldn't celebrate that. We want that on full display. Get yourself a clear Stryfe. Swordfish. I assume it now works fine with other darts, and not sure what the rest of the blaster looks like, but if the pusher is for long and short darts, I assume you kept the mag well for full-length geometry. cUBeCUTTER. I cut down a recon stock, ran a copper wire through the blaster, and reused a gutted regulator and some cardboard to make everything look nice. Oh, it looks nice. It looks nice and jank. Yes, more Retaliator Bullpup, but now with even more jank. It's like 3 different phases with the back, the middle, and the front. You've got cardboard transitioning to plastic, then to more realistic plastic. Still got the top priming action with the Retaliator, but of course the trigger is linked to a separate grip from, you said a regulator? Assuming the more realistic bits are from an airsoft gun for some reason, but you still had a recon stock for the back, and no one wants to see inside there, so cardboard box it is. I'm not gonna pretend like I understand the methodology, but I respect it. This is one of the bullpups of all time.